Hey guys, welcome back to the Uncultured Cinematic Universe. Each episode, we take a look at classic and iconic films from two perspectives, that of the diehard fan and that of the uncultured who's never seen it before until right now. And today, we've got a very special episode for you guys. As I'm sure you've noticed, our young Joseph is out on vacation, which must be nice, right?
Yeah, what else is new?
And this episode, we're going to be introducing for the very first time my wife, UCU social media guru and overall content extraordinaire, Ryan. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. Hi. Hello.
How's it feel?
A little weird.
It's weird.
It's real weird.
But we're in our living room,
We're
so
in our
it's not
living room.
that bad.
Yeah, the neighbors are trying to bomb us.
Yeah, it's 4th of July, by the way. That's the day that we're recording this. But yeah, so as a reminder, you can watch us on YouTube or listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Just search for the Uncultured Cinematic Universe. And remember to like, review, and subscribe, please. It really helps us out and gets us in front of new folks, fine folks.
And look at our Instagram and like all the posts I post.
All the things that Ryan does. It's
Engage
amazing.
with me. It's a lot of fun.
Engage with you, engage with us. We're the collective,
Yeah.
you know. Also, be sure to check us out, yes, on Instagram at UCU Podcast for all the latest happenings and the whatnot. So, without further ado, let's hop on our rad dirt bike and treat our robot overlords with respect and talk about Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which I'm just finding out today is spelled wrong. I didn't confirm.
I don't like it. There's no, the first E that I think belongs there isn't there.
After the G?
Yes.
There is no E. I
Correct.
missed it. I wonder if that's on purpose. I meant to look that up.
It's in, like, if you look up, I looked up the soundtrack to post a thing on the Instagram.
Uh-huh.
It's not there. I think it's on purpose, but I don't like it.
So
It's probably fine.
James Cameron hates E's. Well, like we talked about earlier, like maybe it's
Maybe it's European.
European color versus color,
Yeah.
you know, OUR versus OR. Cool. So, all right, we are, like we said, this is July 4th. It's a new month, July, and we wanted to jump into summer blockbusters, right? And first out the gate, we're doing Terminator. We came up with this idea, 2 days ago?
Yeah. Well, when we found out Joe was on vacation.
Yes, Joe
we were
said,
like, Joe's on the moon for approximately 25 days, and we need to do something entertaining
right now,
in the
because
meantime.
we can't just spin our wheels for 2 weeks while Joe's gallivanting in Barbados.
Yeah.
Which is where he is.
Yeah.
He's legitimately in Barbados.
We're not jealous or bitter or
no,
anything. It's
we actually have he sent us a very special video. We're not going to watch it just yet. I'm going to keep teasing it out. But
we haven't seen it. We have no idea.
I may live to regret not pre-screening it, but I think it's going to be.
I mean,
how bad could it be?
How bad could it be? It's just Joe.
But we miss Joe, so we're trying something new. I think the last episode we talked about, it was our 20th episode, and we were like, fuck it, let's try new stuff. Let's buck the system, and we're really trying out this like in-person thing where we're sharing the same space and kind of capturing the same vibe.
Yeah, it means a lot of chords and rearranging a lot of stuff. But
yeah,
cool.
you can't tell, but between us there is a host of baby toys and chords and gates and madness and a
dog. Yeah, a lot happening.
So much stuff is happening. But all right, so back to summer blockbusters. We had previously, Joe and I had sorted out 2 other episodes that we were getting ready to do, and he throws us the curveball of being out of town for 2 weeks or whatever. And so we kind of scrambled 2 days ago. It was your idea, right? You said, let's try something, and trying to look at what truly makes a summer blockbuster, and that's big budget, big names, and big return at the box office. Really great, really fun stuff. And you had never seen Terminator 2. You had seen the first one.
I've seen many of the Terminator. I feel like the Terminators are kind of like the Fasts and the Furiouses, where there's just lots of them and they can kind of go in order, but they don't have to go in order because it's a lot of blowing stuff up and there's a robot guy.
Yeah, and it's a
cool.
giant, loose, universe. You know, there's no
Right.
heart. There's some rules, but they're all kind of just loosey goosey.
And if it's really important, they'll tell you 16 times.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. So when we were trying to figure out which movie we were going to watch, we were looking at a bunch of other things, and I went through a list of like top 100 of all time summer blockbusters, and like Jaws, and like of course all the Marvel movies that come out around the summertime, Avengers Endgame, and all that kind of stuff. Things that you had seen, and kind of digging around at some of your blind spots. You said like 90s, early 90s was kind of a big
Yeah, I have a big, for a long time, I didn't really care about a movie if it didn't have a Muppet or wasn't animated.
right.
So, so from like the early 90s to like early mid aughts,
hmm
if it had humans in it, it probably wasn't
just
on my
passed you
radar.
by.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we were talking about like just the general broad brushstrokes of like, all right, so Terminator 2, have you seen it? And you're like, I've seen some. And I think there are 6 Terminator
It's like
movies.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, right. I was looking it up earlier. There's 4 sequels that follow this one, and it's bananas. I saw like part of the third one, Rise of the Machines.
I think I saw that one in theater where like Arnold comes out of nowhere and like and he's all glowy. I don't know.
I don't remember. And then there was the
I'm
one
pretty
with,
sure I saw that one in theater.
yeah, there was one with Christian Bale in it,
I don't think I've seen
and I think he
Terminator Rise of the Batman. I have not seen that one.
that's the one where he got a lot of flack behind the scenes because he like lost his shit with like some stagehand or something, and he's like berating this person, and he like almost, this was before like hashtag cancel culture happened, but
Oh,
people were like dragging him on Twitter because he was treating this, I don't know, like a stage gaffer or something like that.
what do you want?
Yeah. He was in the shot or something like that, or he was in the way, and
Oh,
he was yelling at him for like, be fucking professional, something like that. I don't know. Ridiculous stuff. Anyway, there's that one.
I thought you said Christian Bale, not Michael Caine.
First of all, Michael Caine would never,
Would never.
he would never dream of speaking to someone like that. Sir Michael, is he knighted? I don't know.
Is he knighted? He might be.
He very well could
He
be.
should be if he's not.
Most of those older British actors are knighted just because, you know. Um, cool. All right, we've been kind of just meandering, and who knows? Who cares? All right, so let's.
It's after bedtime. We don't. My
It's after
brain. I
bedtime.
drew on some awake eyeballs. It's my brain's a little squishy. We're just gonna see what happens.
That's right. It is 11:30 at night. Um, yeah. So first impressions. Let's start from the top. Actually, let's get this out of the way. When we're addressing each other, I'm not going to call you by your first name because we don't have that
We
kind of
don't really do that.
relationship. I'm just going to call you Nanner, what we do.
Okay.
Short for banana or banana, whatever. That kind of thing. Nanner, what was it like to finally watch a cornerstone of modern cinema?
Well, when it first started, I thought I had already seen it because apparently it starts just the same way as the first one.
There's mirroring kinds of things that we
Overlapping.
talked about.
Yeah.
Like he goes to a biker bar naked
Yeah,
and
he
like, I
shows up
need your
naked,
clothes.
gets
Yeah.
in a fight, demands somebody's clothes and motorcycle. Like apparently that's in his programming because
That's just
he
how
doesn't know any other way, I guess. I don't know.
that's how
So at
time
first I
travel
was like,
works.
oh no, I've already seen this. Now we got to pick something else. Turns out no.
No.
And then that little redheaded kid, he's always the little bastard friend
I don't
in
know
that
the
time
actor.
frame. I
I
don't know who he is.
Yeah, I don't know the actor's name. I know him from Salute Your Shorts.
That's what he's from.
Yeah, he was Budnick, I
That
think
makes
was his name.
sense.
Yeah,
A little
Just-
skeevy, redheaded, mulleted.
just punk
Just
punk
bad
ass.
news.
Just looks like a punk ass.
He does.
You know, he's like the real human equivalent of Bart Simpson, I think.
Yeah, he really is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other thoughts. This movie is such like a solid fixture in cinema. It's often regarded as like one of the best movies of all time, kind of a thing.
Oh, yeah?
And oh, can we dig into that? We'll dig into that a little bit later. But just
I
general.
mean, we finished this in very different headspaces.
Yes, go ahead and share.
I was laughing my crack off. I'm like, they're gonna give it. It's the claw. Like, like what are we doing? And then I look over and he's like, I did not get as attached to the Terminator.
It's touching, and I'll touch on that in the theme portion of it. But like can't really remember the first time I saw this. It has just always been a fixture,
Hmm.
just always been there. I don't know whether it was like a rental or we owned it or something like that, but this movie came out in 1991. I was 4,
I was in kindergarten. Yes.
right? And so like
Muppets.
I wouldn't, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gone to go see it in theaters because that's crazy at 4 years old. Although,
Although at that point, hadn't you already seen Ghost?
if it came out prior to this, yes,
I
because
don't know.
Ghost came out in 1991, I think, or
Did it?
90 or 91, I think Ghost came out.
So
And my mom did take me to see that in theater. But I don't think dad or mom would have taken me to see Terminator 2. Um, but,
you
it's
just never know.
so I did see this before I saw the first Terminator. Um, saw this so many times, probably on like TBS or any of the cable channels. Um, just it was always one of those just summer fixtures that was just on. It was like this and Jaws and like Aliens was just like always on.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I'd seen this probably more times than any other movie via cable, just just because of the sheer popularity of the movie. And it just fills me with nostalgia, which I'm sure feeds into my just gentle tear that falls at the end, because it's really touching. It's really nice, and we'll talk about it later.
It is touching. He does like adopt him as a father, kind of a situation, and the kid
Yeah,
really loves him. And the mom like even points out at one point, she's like, "Oh,
he's the father
he's
figure
the father
that
figure." Like everybody I've picked up in the past however
like
long,
sucks.
they're terrible. We go to Nicaragua and play with a bunch of
Guns
weapons and
and yeah, it's a mess. But yeah, it's wild to that I used to watch this movie as just like probably most people would of just it's a popcorn entertainment explosions left and
car
right kind of a movie,
chases. Yeah.
car chases, fight scenes, guns, all that kind of stuff. But now it's like rewatching it in 2023, it's more of a cautionary tale, and it's literally like just outside of the reach of possibility and reality, right?
Yeah.
It's so
With
relevant.
AI like creeping in to steal people's took our jobs.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
like the robot. Like that's why I say please and thank you to the Alexa lady. Like
All the time.
we're gonna be friends. I don't want to get blowed up by the robots.
No, I mean, I don't know if that was in Skynet's like programming to like people who have been nice to automated phone services or whatever like
I
that. We
need
will
check
spare
marks and
them.
green stars. I want to be friends with the robots.
Yeah, I want yes, kindergarten stars across the board. These people spare them from the carnage. But yeah, it's horrifying to watch this now. Of like, oh God, like a lot of these things are like real conversations that are
Hmm.
taking place. Um, you know, the the conversations of AI research being put on hold until we can put constraints on it because it is advancing too fast and we will reach this point.
Yeah.
And like, oh God, it's so weird because the first thing you notice, like as the movie starts, it's whatever month, but it's like 2029, and you're like, holy shit, that's 6 years from now.
It's not even that far.
Yeah. So it's bonkers to rewatch the movie now, and you know,
Yeah,
it
in
used to
91 that was oh the distant
the
future. We'll
distant
never
future
it'll
that
never
could
come. We
never
won't.
happen,
Come
but now
on.
it's just like, oh, 100% that could happen.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those crazy things. Um, cool. So let's just hit some of these things. I know most of these you don't care about, but they're good conversation pieces, like directors and things like
Oh,
that.
I just don't I can't remember people's names.
Yeah. Well, here we go. So this movie was released July 3rd. Technically yesterday.
Well, well, in a
30
couple minutes it'll be a couple days ago.
yeah 32 years ago, 1991. Directed by James Cameron, the James Cameron, who loves to explore the Titanic and go underwater. Avatar, Aliens, Titanic, right? Starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, Robert Patrick, and introducing Edward Furlong. That was the little credit. It's the kid.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Robert Patrick, the cop guy.
yes.
Okay.
He's done a bunch of other things. I've seen him in like, uh, he's done a bunch of like HBO TV stuff like that. He was in like True Blood and stuff like that. I think he was in Peacemaker. I think he was Peacemaker's dad.
Oh, that's the
Maybe.
same guy?
I think so.
I mean, yeah, I could see that being the same person.
Yeah.
It's got similar facial structure.
Just, 30 years older kind of a
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, so this movie had a budget of between 94 and 102 million and cleaned up at the box office, and I think this is worldwide, 520
Goodness.
for 1991 dollars.
Yeah.
I don't know what that translates to, but it's a
Probably like
bunch.
a lot. Yeah.
Probably a lot. So obviously, yeah, so with that, stacked cast and that kind of thing, with the success, this formulated, a runway for what it meant in the 90s to be a summer blockbuster smash. I don't know if like that term got like thrown around as much in the 80s. I'm sure there were some
The
like,
term blockbuster?
yeah, I'm sure there were, but like I felt like starting with this year 91 and then every subsequent year there was a definitive summer blockbuster. I can't remember what 1992 was, but like 93 was Jurassic
It had to
Park.
be Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, and then like 96 was like Independence Day. So like those kinds of movies, ramping up the budget, ramping up the stars, ramping up all kinds of insane SFX stuff.
Well, that was back in the time too, where you had like 2 big movies per season, and then you
Yeah.
had to wait 16 years for them to come out on VHS so you could watch them at home or get them on Blockbuster.
Yep.
So if you didn't see it in a theater, you were
You
probably never going to see it.
and
You were a very different person by the time it came out.
and you could not participate in those conversations on the playground during recess. And then one other thing for the Academy Award sweetheart of Joe, who's here in spirit,
I can't wait to see this video.
I can't either. We're going to do it after this because I can't put it off any longer. This movie took home 4 awards at the 64th Academy Awards. It took home Best Makeup, Best Sound, Best Sound Effects Editing, and Best Visual Effects. So like the whole gamut of like sci-fi explosion, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And I remember, I knew that before we finished it today. The makeup of Arnold, like at the last battle scene when he's getting beat to shit,
Yeah,
and like his face is like half there, like that's really incredible effect makeup. You'd be hard pressed to do that again these days without CGI.
They wouldn't take the time.
They wouldn't, and it wouldn't look as good.
Mhm.
That's what I think makes this movie look so, stands the test of time. I think, and definitely being one of those, it is one of the movies, one of the best movies in the history of ever. Okay, cool. So that's all of the overview, and now let's move into this quick segue and watch this Joe video. Again, we have never seen it. Joe sent it to us today. We humbly requested that, Joe, you send in a video. We'll show it live, and we won't look at it beforehand. So I'm going to press play.
And what did he say? He said, "Oh, that's absolutely my intention," or something in that nature. Yeah.
Yep.
So God knows what he sent us.
I have no idea. This is going to be bonkers. All right, so you're going to hit the unmute button, and here we go.
Hi guys, just calling in from Barbados. I'm at a friend's wedding. It's the worst. I just wanted to say thank you and congratulations to Ryan for being the UCU's first guest host. It's a huge honor, and I can't think of anyone better. I hear you guys are watching T2 Judgment Day, and I had a couple fun facts about the movie that I wanted to share. First, the musical score for the movie is tied for my #1 favorite movie score of all time. The theme for this movie goes so hard and complements the first movie so well. Second, if you have time in this episode, please talk about the Terminator 2 ride at Universal Studios, because it was one of my favorites. It's the perfect mix of action and cheese, and I think they closed it down, which is sad, and it should be memorialized whenever possible. Anyway, just wanted to say good luck with the episode, And also, I know you guys are trying to Zuckerberg me right now. You set me up. I know you planted that story about the chicken. This is gonna be like I'm not part of the UCU, even though my name is on the masthead. I'm sorry, my Prada's at the cleaners. I'm not signing these papers. And you better lawyer up, assholes. Because when I get back for our speed episode later this month, I'm not coming back for 30% of airtime. I'm coming back for everything. Okay, thanks. Love you guys. Bye.
Oh my God. That is the best thing Joe could have ever done. I assured him through text that we weren't Zuckerberging him, but he didn't believe us, apparently.
I guess he sees Justin Timberlake in this chair. I don't.
That's right. It makes you Timberlake. Oh, no. That's so funny, though. Well done, Joe. We miss you.
We do. We miss you.
I hope you're having fun. Wear your sunscreen. Cool. So let's. I was going to do the trailer, but we'll do that in a little bit. I want you to do the plot.
Should we first talk about the Universal ride before we forget?
Oh, you know what? We probably should. Okay.
I'm not stalling. It's fine.
So you didn't.
I have not seen that. This predates my Universal
trips. Yes.
trips.
Right. So it was there at its inception or shortly thereafter, because I think.
Where was it? What's there now?
It is the Jason Bourne ride.
Oh. So it was a show, not a ride?
It was a show.
Okay.
Very similar vibes to the Jason Bourne show or to Bourne Supremacy, whatever show it is.
It was really cool.
Whatever it is. Super cool. Not as innovative as that one.
Mm-hmm.
It same kind of thing where it's like a big stadium kind of seating kind of thing, big open thing, and there's like a giant screen that's intercut with real life actors coming on screen and like acting and then cutting away to like big movie style kind of stuff in the background. Yes, definitely over the top, camp, ridiculous. They would have team members, who would perform as the Terminator, and they always looked just like a little off, but they were real convincing and trying their hardest. Fake explosions, the 4D effect to the max. I don't remember what the storyline is, but
probably not important.
It's probably inconsequential, But yeah, it was a cool ride. I only saw it like once while it was there. It was either like under construction any other time that I went prior, or the lines were too long. But it was always a good one to go. To beat the heat or beat a crowd or something like that. But same kind of vibe as the Bourne ride.
Mm-hmm.
But pretty cool. But yeah, I think it is immortalized Joe somewhere. I think there's like a plaque or like a bust or something at the very entrance, at the entrance of the new ride.
If you're not careful, all you'll be is a plaque or a bust at the entrance of the UC. I don't know.
UC. Zing, burn, take that, Joe.
Take that, Joe.
Yeah, so that's the T2 ride.
T on the T2 ride?
Yes, 100%. There is the T, spilling the tea. So my phone's tied up and the iPad has the baby on it. So I'm just going to use my watch to time you for a minute, if that's cool with you.
We'll see what I can do here. I don't know if I need a minute, but maybe I do. We'll see how much I can ramble.
This is your first time.
Yes. I'm going to try not... I have notes, but I'm not going to read them because that is cheating, Joe.
That is cheating.
And I'm going to try not to get hung up anywhere.
Like you said, it's a pretty in and out.
But it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
So I guess start the clock and we'll see what happens.
All right, here we go. And your time starts now.
So we open up on a bunch of machines crushing a bunch of skulls in this like post-apocalyptic nightmare. I don't remember if it's I can't stumble over this. Anyway, the Terminator gets zapped in naked and then goes to a bar, steals a guy's clothes, gets on the road because he's looking for John Connor. Meanwhile, another Terminator gets zapped in naked and he becomes a cop guy. So
30
there's
seconds.
cop guy. Okay, there's cop guy, and there's Arnold, and they go and find the kid who's off doing mischief. He's busting into ATMs, and he's at an arcade, and he's causing chaos, and he's got a foster family. Um, uh, there's a lot of car chases. They go to get his mom out of the nut house where she's getting ripped. Eventually Arnold and John and Sarah all team up and go get weapons, and then a lot of stuff blows up, and Arnold dies in the dip.
Dip.
That's stressful, and I didn't like it.
Yeah, it is stressful. It's a lot. Without the visual element of knowing how much time you're taking, that is difficult. But you got there.
I mean, essentially, he shows up, they blow up a bunch of shit, and then he goes away, and hopefully the robots don't take over the world.
Yeah, maybe they did, and I think they were supposed to like reroute history, obviously.
That was the idea.
Or the future. They were
Yeah.
supposed to. First, I mean, like without taking into consideration, the obvious giant gaping plot holes or whatever, the butterfly effect of just going back in time anyway, just kind of fucking with everything.
Murdering everybody and blowing shit up.
Yeah, isn't going to change the course of the future anyway, right?
I have seen that movie.
The Butterfly Effect?
Yeah.
With Cooch,
Ashton.
with the Cooch. Yeah, great movie. Where were we going with that? Oh, so yeah, so they rewrote the future, right, by destroying the evidence from the first movie, which was the hand and the chip.
And they blew up the guy. That wasn't their intention eventually, but they blew up the guy that was going to do it.
Oh, that's right. He was going to be like, no, I'll just quit and destroy all the evidence.
I'll help you blow it up. And then he blowed up too.
He done blowed up. Gruesome, horrifying way to die. But really cool scene. But yeah, so hopefully already just the future's good. By that
There's
regard, so
7 more movies after that, so
there's no telling.
I don't think it worked.
Which I'm really curious about, because I only saw the third one once, but like barely. Like I wasn't really paying attention to it. It was just like on in the background, and I didn't see any of the other ones, so I have no idea how they pick up the pieces from the very close tied with a bow ending of this movie.
The guy who would have done it is in a million pieces. All the evidence is in a vat.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
what more do you want?
I think maybe Dyson's kid, instead of making vacuums, thinks that he needs to pick up his dad's legacy. He forgets
he needs to suck up his dad's legacy.
He needs to suck up his dad's legacy. Never lose suction. And he's like, Dad would have wanted me to make the robots. And he doesn't remember that the robots came back and said, please don't make the robots.
He just conveniently forgets.
I mean, he was like 10 and he was busy. I don't know.
It was traumatic.
It was traumatic.
So maybe he repressed it.
Maybe he repressed it, and he was like, Dad would want me to make the robots. And then here we go again.
Here we go again. Terminator 7. Here we go again.
Here we go.
Here we go again.
I mean, Arnold's still pretty spry for a 80-year-old guy, or however old he is right now.
He is 80 now. I think he made an appearance, or was one of the leads in the most recent one that they made, Dark something. I don't remember what it was.
Is it the Christian Bale one? Dark Knight Rises?
Dark Knight Rises, no.
Terminator.
It was like Dark Futures, Dark something like that. Dark Terminal.
That
I don't
sounds
know.
made up.
But apparently James Cameron and some other person came back to write a direct sequel. They like bypassed the 3 bullshit ones that came in between. They're like, all right, we're doing a direct sequel. Dark Fate. That's what it's called. Dark Fate. But apparently that one got a lot of flack because like the movie starts with another Terminator as Arnold coming back and just like murking John Connor at the beginning as a teenager.
And then roll credits? Like, what is this movie?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, where do you go from here? Like, who sent that guy? Who's the asshole? So no idea where it goes from there. But cool. Before we forget, we'll do some cheers here, and we'll talk about our bevies, and then we'll play the trailer, and then we'll come back to it. We'll do a little air cheers. We can't do it because we're across the room.
Very stuck.
You are very stuck. Very comfortable. All right, so what we are drinking, we're both drinking the same thing. This is also a UCU first.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the same room. We share a lot of things. Um, and I couldn't come up with a second drink. You kind of already planted the idea in my head um, of making something like this, and it's actually quite delicious.
It is delicious. So I was inspired by the final scene where, and I like, I don't know, the final scene where he is in the vat and he's like, I'm dying, but then he gives a thumbs up.
Yeah.
And I could not believe that you were crying because I was dying. Like, okay.
It's so good.
It's all good or whatever. However, Arnold sounds.
It's such a good ending to me, and we'll talk about that later. But yes, so that scene you were inspired by to make this beverage. You wanted something
red, and I thought Fireball would be a good starting point.
Yes, Fireball whiskey. So you mentioned that before we put the baby to bed, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna make our cocktails, and I just threw in a whole bunch of shit. So this is 2 ounces of Fireball, an ounce of pineapple juice, and an ounce of cranberry juice, and half an ounce of grenadine to make it just like really, really red. And it's delicious.
It's delish, yeah.
Yeah. So based on the scene that you're talking about, and we're gonna dub it. What is it? Molten lava thumbs up. I think we'll call it that. Molten lava thumbs up. I think that's what we're gonna go with.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's a little fiery. It's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, overall, it's real good. That's our cocktail. Great. Let's look at the trailer. I haven't watched this one either, but let's check it out.
Joe shows up in this one. I'm gonna die.
Joe, yeah, I'm gonna riot.
Same make.
These were taken at the West Highland Police Station, 1984. You were there.
Same model.
These were taken today.
You have to let me see my son. He's in great danger.
New mission. Once, he was programmed to destroy the future.
You don't know what it's like to try to kill one of these things.
Now, his mission...
Get down.
...is to protect it.
Mom! Come with me if you want to live.
You're really real.
His loyalty is to a child.
Who sent you?
You did. 35 years from now.
And his enemy...
He's a Terminator like you, right?
Not like me.
...is the deadliest machine ever built.
Can it be destroyed?
Unknown.
This time, there are two. Terminator 2.
You just can't go around killing people.
Why?
If you thought you had seen it all, look again.
Stay down!
Go! Now!
We gotta stick together!
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Terminator 2, Judgment Day. This time, he's back. For good.
Trust me.
So I don't think that guy saw the movie. This time he's back for good. Did you miss the ending, bro? He's not back for good. He has to make
thumbs up though.
He has to make the ultimate sacrifice with his molten lava thumbs up.
And for what?
For why?
Well, because we know there's a bunch more movies.
Yeah, right. It's all for naught.
It's all for naught.
And like Rise of the Machines didn't come out until like 2006 or something like that. Like they couldn't just let it lie forever. They had to reawaken the franchise. I hate Hollywood so much. Cool. So I wanted to talk about what makes this movie a blockbuster, and I kind of touched on some of these. It's a super stacked cast. Arnold was the action star of the time. Started in the early 80s, I think, or late 70s. I can't remember when he did Conan the Barbarian, and then he did Terminator and Predator, and then this, and then all kinds of things. And he's obviously a household name, but you want to make a blockbuster action flick, you get Arnold.
I mean, despite my aversion to movies with humans in them, I have seen most of Arnold's catalog.
Minnie and Arnold.
It's strange.
Yeah.
Not on purpose. I don't know.
I mean, he makes good movies.
He does. It's a good time.
It's a good time whenever Arnold's involved. Linda Hamilton was making a name for herself, obviously from the first one in 1984, and then just cementing herself as just being a superb badass. Robert Patrick brought that insane, like, perfect, like, characterization of just like a cold, lifeless robot.
He plays a good robot, especially his entrance. He's very like,
yeah, without being like too like beep, 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 beep,
yeah, without doing the robot.
Yeah,
he's very robotic.
Yeah,
and emotionless,
super dead-eyed. Yeah, you can totally tell. And then Edward Furlong was just like the coolest kid. I remember, being young and watching this for the first several times or whatever, and just being like, I want long hair that's just in my face all the time because that just looks so cool.
From his mama.
Yeah, who just was looking through bangs.
Like, girl,
how do you see like that? It's just you can't. Insane amount of explosions, and
it was giving Tropic Thunder. It was so much, just
for the sake. Yeah,
just
a car flips over. So many things happening.
And then also, like, this dirt bike must have been supercharged to outrun, what was it, a tow truck that the cop guy stole?
Well, I mean, him and Budnick were working on it in the garage at the beginning of the movie. So they were turning the turbo
up to 11.
And that's how they did it. But yeah, the set pieces and the sequences, like you can when you think of like the plot of this movie and you're trying to remember, like, all right, what happens? How do you get from point A to point B? You're kind of just taken from action set piece to action set piece. And they're all iconic. They all have been mimicked in multiple different ways and explored in so many other movies. But like the mall confrontation scene is
where Arnold shows up with his box of roses. I've seen that emulated before.
Yeah, so cool.
And no one in the mall gives a fuck.
They don't. They're not panicked.
They're not even. They're just going about their shopping. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, gunshots and siren, like, it's bonkers. It's insane. Like, why aren't they more panicked?
And like the guy that's getting shot isn't dying. He's just exploding in these giant silver holes of.
Yeah, shouldn't people be more panicked by this?
Which was really cool. It makes sense that they got the nom or actual award for visual. Yeah, like they deserved it. That was really, and I even said so while we were watching. That was really, really cool. And I bet they were super proud of that, especially for the time.
Yeah, super, super cool stuff. So you go from the mall chase or the mall confrontation showdown to immediately the highway chase, which what you're talking about with the dirt bike and the Mack truck, tow truck, and Arnold on his Harley. Mm-hmm. Such a cool scene on the causeway or whatever that.
It's like
that
in
drainage.
That drainage gutter thing. I've seen that in a few movies too. It happens. You haven't seen Grease, right? In Grease, they do a drag race in it.
Yeah.
Not drag race.
Not the fun kind. Yeah.
No, very different.
But yeah, like that's such a cool use of like the space and the city. You don't have to do it on a highway and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there don't have to be a lot of people around. It's kind of oppressive because the walls are all around you.
Yeah, it is very
it's
oppressive.
Enclosed.
Yeah, it feels very tense. It definitely plays into it. You go from that to the mental institute escape, which is super awesome for its own different reasons. She's slipping into madness, you can kind of see, but like also the staff that works there is also like incredibly shitty. The licky guy obviously gets his comeuppance. But that whole scene is awesome.
He deserved what he got.
He definitely did.
And then some.
Then you go to the Dyson home invasion, which is where you get a whole lot of plot and story there, and then the Cyberdyne building, which is just explosion after explosion. It's
made of glass.
Yes. The whole building's made of glass.
And every cop in the state showed up.
And it's just the cops, like SWAT team, national.
There was no time.
There was no time. Just send every cop ever and give them all shotguns to point at a 8-story building.
Nobody go in the building.
Just point your
Just
shotgun.
Point your
at it.
shotgun at the giant glass building. We don't know what we think they're on that floor, but we don't really know.
Well,
Luckily, they had a helicopter,
Thank God that helicopter.
but they
came.
had to. Otherwise, the movie would have ended because then we wouldn't have had the next chase scene.
That's right. Then you get the helicopter chase, which is so cool. And again, thinking back to 1991, and a lot of that stuff, every single scene is done practically. They really flew a helicopter under a bridge.
Bananas.
Which is, I can't remember the exact quote or whatever, but there's tons of behind the scenes stuff with this movie. And the stunt guy who flew that only had like a margin of error of feet on each side, like a couple feet.
And if you just tip the rotor one time, that whole thing that's an actual real explosion.
That's a real explosion. Yeah. And it's much smaller than what would be portrayed. But like all of those
still wouldn't be a good time.
Yeah, like going under the bridge and then almost coming to one, flying over it, like super cool scene. And then of course the final battle in the steel mill. Steel mill. Super awesome. Love that so much. But yeah, this movie set the precedent for 90s summer blockbusters. It was super successful and acted as the blueprint for years to follow. Paved the way for CGI in a bunch of ways. A lot of the liquid metal scenes, like, hold up. They don't look quite as shitty as I thought they would have for 1991.
It was really impressive, especially considering the technology of the time.
Yeah, like I can't imagine how long that took to render any of those scenes.
You said it was how many millions of dollars? I mean, I bet a big part of the budget
100 million. 100 million total, but like to pay Arnold and
do
all the explosions
and blow everything up.
Every single thing up. Crazy.
But one thing that we figured out and we found was the practical use of twins.
That's right. You did find that out.
So such a cool thing. Like the cop guy that was drinking coffee before the T-1000 murdered him.
Oh, he's the he's just like a security
guard. He's like
a
sheriff guy. He was a twin. So for like the few seconds that he's on camera with, you think it's CGI. It's not. It's a whole nother person.
I thought it was, one of those scenes where they just shoot one half and then layer on the other side. Yeah. Nope, that was his brother.
So smart.
2 twins.
Genius.
Twins, Basil. Very cool.
And then didn't you say that Sarah's a twin? Sarah Connor's a twin?
That's right. Linda Hamilton has a twin sister, and I think she shows up at the end.
At the end where the T-1000's trying to trick John.
Yeah.
Even
and
though
poses.
Mom told him 1,000 times, I will never, ever, don't come back for me.
Dummy. Yeah. Don't you listen to me. Don't listen to Mom. Mom don't know best. T-1000 knows best. Apparently. This movie was the most expensive movie of its time at that point, which 100 million, like you sneeze at that. Any movie that you can make these days. And then, of course, so many iconic lines, and they're all Arnold's. You get "Hasta la vista, baby." That's where that came from. I'll be back, and come with me if you want to live. So cool.
Well, like "Hasta la vista, baby," that comes from when the kid's trying to teach him how to human.
Yeah, which is like so innocuous.
Stop being weird.
Yeah, which is such an endearing scene.
It is. It's really cute.
Okay, so we're getting into themes, and we'll go ahead and talk about that. Why I cry at the end.
If I had not been cackling the whole time over the nonsense things that were happening, maybe if I were more in it, but I was just laughing at the action was killing me. It was cracking me up the whole time.
It is over the top in all the best ways possible. So the theme of like overcoming, and Sarah talks about, she's rewriting the future. There's no fate, but what you make of it.
It's bigger than us.
All that kind of stuff. And then the thing she's talking about when she's carving that before she has her nightmare,
which
is super disturbing and
that was
horrifying. Yeah.
So graphic.
Right. But, she's talking about the machine, the T-800, Arnold is, the surrogate kind of like father figure that John's always needed, that she couldn't find for him in any of the years prior. And it was this killing machine who tried to kill her in the past. And, he is programmed to learn and to be better and to make himself better and understand. And at the very end, he understands why John cries or why humans cry.
Yeah.
He's like, but it's something I can't do. I'm a robot. But the thumbs up is so like kitschy and silly, but like it was something that John taught him, and it was his final send off to him, and it's so cool. But yeah, so like the whole like father figure thing is something that I hadn't caught on to before, and I thought it was really powerful. But another theme that I loved is just doomsday was just it's a common trope that you explore in movies, but it's scarier now that that imagery is so just on the precipice of just we're seconds from midnight, that kind of thing, of that kind of shit happening. But it's not too far fetched, and it's incredibly plausible.
Yeah.
And I hate it.
In 1991, when this came out, people were like, that'll never happen. What a great movie. And now we're like, dun dun dun.
Yeah, it's like, can you please not?
And then you have people digging up dinosaur bones, and we're like, have you seen Jurassic Park? Like,
yeah,
so many people just need to go watch a movie and just stop.
Or just stop watching the movies and getting ideas.
Maybe. Well, but if they watched the movies, they would see how badly it ends.
But they're in the same mindset that everyone was in the 90s of like, that'll never happen. And it's all bad. Artificial intelligence, love the description of what happens in 1997 is what she was saying when Skynet comes online. It advances too fast, it becomes sentient, and it takes human emotion out of the equation and bombs Russia as a precaution, right? And then that just causes everything else. Like, it's so just not out of the scope of what could happen. And it's very relevant, and it's incredibly scary.
Yeah.
And I don't like it anymore. I still do love this movie, but now it's just like, oh no. The dichotomy of the T-800 becoming more human and Sarah becoming less human is a neat thing that takes place throughout the movie. She kind of gains back her humanity at the end, but she is very cold and calculating and so focused on rewriting the future that she's so just like,
especially when she bails to go kill Dyson.
Yeah, she's such just like a shit mother to John when they first like reconcile and they're in the car and they're escaping the mental hospital. He thinks he's going in for a hug and she's hugging him, but she's just like checking him for wounds, like don't be a liability kind of a thing. But at the end, she's like piling Kevlar vests on him, which that's not how it works.
That's not how Kevlar works, people.
But
she was like taping them to the windows. I'm like, ma'am.
Like, what are you doing? It's not going to stop anything.
And he kept peeking out anyway. Like,
yeah. What do you think is going to happen? And then this was a really neat rise of the female-led protagonist in modern film. She's just an incredible badass. And
in my memory and my research, I also read, I don't know how true it is, but apparently she was only a few months postpartum when she started training to be that ripped monster that you find in the nut house.
Yeah, just
I can't even imagine.
Just cranking out pull-ups like it ain't no big deal.
Yeah, just
just ready to just whip some doctor ass, which you'd love to see. But yeah, so like the previous movie that James Cameron did was Aliens. Same kind of thing with Sigourney Weaver as Ellen Ripley. Things that you hadn't seen before. Women leads being, just being the badass, right? Saving the day, kicking ass, smart,
super strong physically and emotionally, and a lot more androgynous. Like, that crap would never fly today. People would lose their fucking minds.
Yeah, I was reading up on some of that stuff of like, she's wearing, like a tank top, which is very reminiscent of like other male action stars.
She's very Rambo in her scene where they go to get the weapons and then she bails.
Yeah, right, and the all black and the tactical pants and that kind of stuff. But like her iconic look from this movie is the white tank top.
Oh, when she's doing her pull-ups?
Yeah.
Chin-ups.
Chin-ups, chin-ups with the wrist facing in. Yeah.
All right.
workout talk.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, like it was a riff, and it was on purpose to like, no, she is the lead. She's one of the leads in this movie, and she's not, a helpless damsel in distress. Like, she's a hardened, calculating killing machine. Even though she can't do it at the end. But yeah, it's this movie has really neat things that it touches on. It's definitely worth a rewatch if you hadn't watched it in the past several years. And like, my take on it now is it is a way scarier, more real
Well, yeah, it
adjacent
full on
movie.
holds up. You don't notice the effects because they're so good.
Yeah, this doesn't feel
That
like that.
that could come out today, except it never would because it's too close to reality.
Yeah. This would feel just like, what are you
It's too
what are you
much of
trying
a
to say?
documentary. Like,
Yeah. Who whose idea was this?
yeah.
No, absolutely. It's it definitely stands the test of time for a multitude of reasons. It's just a lot of fun, and there's so many fun things that I'm discovering for the first time with this movie. Obviously being a father for the first time, like definitely picking up those vibes
Yeah.
from this go round. But yeah, those are some of the things that I noted about. We're rounding out here, Nanner. Do you want to give some final thoughts before we wrap it up with some end games, some shenanigans?
I don't know if I have any more thoughts.
Would you watch this movie again?
Oh yeah, I think I would watch it again.
Yeah.
I don't know if I just would be. The action was so over the top, and Arnold gets me every time. He cracks me up. He loves a one-liner, and plus, I'm like in my brain filling in different Arnold one-liners, like when T-1000 gets taken out with the um liquid nitrogen.
Mm-hmm.
He could have very easily given him the Mr. Freeze.
Chill.
Everybody chill. Like it, so I'm watching it through that lens
That's fair.
and cracking up, dying laughing, and you're like in a very different
I'm in a very different headspace.
place.
It is, like I said, it's a very nostalgic watch because I've seen this multiple times and grew up with it, that kind of thing.
I'm
So-
too deep in the Arnold verse. That's my problem.
Right, yeah. Which I mean, which I have too, of course. Arnold gets some funny quips in here. But yeah, I love this movie so much, and I think it definitely has earned its place of being a top tier, one of the best movies of all time. Definitely one of the better sequels of all time.
Oh, for sure.
It maybe kind of tilted sequel stuff in probably the wrong direction to like always go more, make it bigger, make it more over the top. But like, I think they did it right. I think every explosion, however, masturbatory, whatever you want to call it, it is. I think a lot of it is earned in some ways. It makes sense canonically
He
with the
stood
story.
in the front in the doorway of the fucking glass building wherever they were.
Mm-hmm.
And just was blowing up cop cars for funsies, like
Which you love to see, right?
I mean, yeah.
In 2023, you love to see cop cars being blown up, but hilarious, yeah. But yeah, that's all my thoughts. Do you want the final word on T2?
Do I want the final word?
Yeah.
No,
No.
thanks.
Great. No thanks. I love it, and I love you. Great. So what we're gonna do? Joe mentioned that he loves the soundtrack to this movie. It's
I
his
wonder
second.
if he said it was his top 2. I wonder if the other one is Little Shop.
I really hope it is
I
Little
hope
Shop
it
of
is.
Horrors.
I know he listened to it a bunch.
Yeah. I mean, we gave him good ones. We give him good stuff.
We do.
I definitely took a cue from the theme song that plays a lot through it, as well as subconsciously I was influenced, and it ties back into our beverage. And I mentioned this to you at dinner of, Molten Lava, Thumbs Up, or Thumbs Up, Molten Lava, whatever, is the name of a song of a band that we both like called Double Ferrari out of Athens, Georgia. They have a song of the same title. and they do a similar kind of thing at the end of the song. We'll go back and we'll listen to it,
Okay.
and they do the same kind of thing. But anyway, so here's the end game, and we're gonna play Robot Apocalypse.
Ooh.
Okay, you ready?
Robocalypse. All right.
Robocalypse. Here we go. Ready? A lot of Robin Williams robots.
Yeah.
He loves a robot. Great stuff. So we're going to be playing Robot Apocalypse.
I can't wait to find out what this is.
This is a game centered around famous pop culture robots.
Okay.
There are 10 questions.
Uh-huh.
It's not multiple choice.
All right.
So it's just, I tried to make them pretty approachable. Not too obscure or anything like that. So this is just general pop culture robots. There's a bunch. So I'm going to give you just a general description, and you just tell me which robot I'm talking about.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Cool. All right.
There's 10.
I'm really good at names, so this should be really
This is
easy for
fun.
me.
This is so much fun. Hooray.
Hooray.
All right. Number 1. The last robot left on Earth. Name.
Oh, it's Wally.
Me. God damn it. You got it.
Ding,
Yep.
ding, ding.
Waste allocation, load lifter, Earth class.
Oh.
Wally.
Do you know his girlfriend? Is she on this list?
She's not on this
Okay.
list.
Eva.
Yeah, took her off.
Well,
no,
they're robots, so they're non-binary.
that's right. Get it right.
Sorry.
Known for beeping and booping, as most
R2D2.
robots are, this resourceful astromech travels the galaxy with their non-binary life mate, Golden Robot,
It's R2D2.
R2D2.
I'm
Shape.
better at this than I thought.
That's true. You're
So far.
2 for 2. Shape-shifting leader of other fellow robots. This one's name means the best individual in Latin.
Huh?
For those of you who don't know, Ryan lettered in Latin.
I
in
lettered
high
in
school.
foreign language in high school, and I took Latin.
Like you do.
Like you do. I lettered in academics twice, boys and girls.
For those keeping score.
For those keeping score at home. Say again.
Shape-shifting leader of other fellow bots. This one's name means the best individual in Latin.
I have no idea.
So if you were going to say, like something is the best,
Like Magna
other
or
other things.
Laude. I don't know.
If something is the best, would you say it's optimal?
Was it Optimus Prime?
Optimus
Oh,
Prime.
it's fucking stupid Transformers.
Transformers, yeah. All right, you missed one. You got me. Before assuming a physical shape named Vision, this AI went by this name.
Jarvis?
Jarvis. There you go. Redeeming.
It's just movies I've seen. I can't get with the Transformers.
I can't either. Hard drinking, cigar smoking, foul mouthed, animated, beloved robot.
Bender.
I can't remember Bender's full name. It's like Hernandez or something like that. It's Bender Hernandez. Famously irritating and hilariously always complaining, this golden bot is friends with Robot from question number 2.
C-3PO.
C-3PO. Well done. Inflatable healthcare robot superhero friend.
Baymax.
Baymax. There we go. You've only missed one so far. Cartoons, man. Adorned in crayon decorated cardboard, Cartman assumes this robot persona in order to blackmail Butters.
I've seen that episode. It's like the something 3000. He's like the friend bot or something.
Yeah, it's close. It's well, not even close. It's Osimo.
Oh,
He is.
and he
Osimo.
winds up having to go to like Butters' grandma's house.
It's really funny. Oh yeah, and then I read the whole description of this episode, and it's.
Oh, have you never seen it?
No, I have. Yeah, it's hilarious. I forgot that all of that happened. Like
He's like, oh man.
Hollywood like kidnaps him and like exploits him to write movies, and all of them
He
have
was
Rob
just trying to
Schneider, or
fuck
no,
with
have
Four Butters.
Adam Sandler. Okay, and in another one, Adam Sandler. It's great.
I mean, that's kind of what happened in real life.
It's true. All right, number 9. One of the oldest bots in a fictional LARP park. This bot starts out simple and sweet, then later questions the nature of their reality, and all hell breaks
Oh,
loose.
I don't know her name, but she's the blonde lady from the Western Robot Park.
Uh-huh.
um,
She's got an old-fashioned name.
I can't remember her name, but I can see her face. And like
D-
in the
Dolores.
beginning of her Dolores, in the beginning of her simulation, she like drops an onion or an apple or something
Uh-huh.
every time. I know who you're talking about. I'm just
Oh,
bad
I
at
know.
names.
Oh, I know.
What Westworld
Westworld.
Robot Simulation Park.
Yeah, there you go. It's a LARP park, yeah.
Yeah.
Last question.
When I think LARP, I think like fairies and
Right,
leap
not-
lorped in the floopty doos.
Yeah, not like gunslinging robot cowboys. Last question. The arch nemesis of the fastest blue hedgehog you've ever seen.
Dr. Robotnik.
Here it is. So you missed.
I got an 80.
You got an 80. Well,
I missed 2, right?
you missed 3.
I missed 3. What was the third one?
South Park.
Oh,
You
I
missed
couldn't
that
think
one.
of
You
it.
missed
All
Awesome
right,
Hour.
okay. But I knew what I just bad at names.
I know. It's partial credit.
I got 90% if I could remember names of things.
You did well, though.
Yeah.
You did really go. That was fun. That was Robot Apocalypse.
Robocalypse.
Robocalypse. That's what I should have called it.
We'll put it on the gram.
Put it on the gram. Oh, yeah. You'll have a fun time with that on the stories, just doing all the screen grabs and stuff. Great. Nana, we just did Terminator
I did a
2,
podcast.
and you did a podcast. Very first UCU guest host. Thoughts of...
Wasn't the plan.
This was not the plan. This was a very last minute plan 2 days ago. But how's it feel being on the podcast finally?
I will have a lot less to say when we listen back. Maybe not. I don't know.
Oh, I should have said this. Oh, I should have said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you probably won't want to listen back. You'll probably...
I will listen.
Okay,
It'll
great.
be fine.
It'll be fine. You did great.
I won't watch, no, but I will listen.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Everyone else will watch instead. So that brings the end of the episode. Don't forget to like, review, and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram at UCU Podcast for any new fun.
It's a good time.
It's a great time. It's well worth your while. And Joe returns, makes his triumphant return, sunburn and all, next week, I think.
He probably won't be sunburned. He's got pretty brown skin like you have.
It's true, he does.
His
Italian?
Jonathan will be quite sunburned, I would have to imagine.
He is quite pale, yes. So that'll be hilarious. But yeah, we're going to do this again next week sometime, and that's when we're going to be talking about speed. It's going to be so much fun, and then we'll let Joe tease out his episode that we'll do at the end of the month.
It is a left turn.
It is a hard left turn, but it is...
It's going to be fun too, though.
It is a blockbuster.
It meets the criteria.
It meets the criteria.
I don't know how many gratuitous explosions there will be, but it is a blockbuster.
Period. It happens. Great. So that, everybody, has been the Uncultured Cinematic Universe from the House of Nanner.
The Nanner Manor.
The Nanner Manor is where we live. Thanks for stopping by. Check us out later, and we'll catch everyone on the flippy flip.